Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I'm Jennifer Lee Chan. Just to update you a little bit, the 49ers did make some roster moves on Saturday. One is unfortunate news. Yetur Gross-Matos has been placed on injured reserve. He will miss at least 4 games before he's eligible to return. A guy that I think the 49ers thought could be a good bookend opposite of Nick Bosa in rotation along with Leonard Floyd. Unfortunately, the knee injury that he sustained in the preseason has not really healed. He's been kind of up and down with it. And so finally now before the week 5 game, he has been placed on injured reserve. So hopefully it's just a little rest for his knee. That was a scary game. It was in Las Vegas. Both Yetur Gross-Matos got injured. And then Leonard Floyd, the next play. It looked like they were going to lose 2 players within, for the season. I mean, it looked really serious, but thankfully Leonard Floyd for the 49ers has healed and he's been back on the field. Just looking to see some more production from him opposite of Nick Bosa. Other moves, corresponding move for the 49ers defensive line is Kalia Davis getting activated to the 53-man roster. So he will play on Sunday. 49ers, notoriously have been really good on the defensive line, but the depth now is at question. Javon Hargrave out for the season. Jordan Elliott has had some issues. There is no injury designation for Jordan Elliott this week, which is good. So he and Malik Collins will kind of hold down the interior along with Kevin Givens on rotation. The 49ers also promoted T.Y. McGill from the practice squad. So he could play on Sunday as well, just to give the defensive line, especially on the interior, a little bit of depth. So again, Yetur Gross-Matos going on IR. Kalia Davis has been promoted to the 53-man roster. T.Y. McGill promoted for the game on Sunday. Also, Trent Taylor elevated from the practice squad Sunday. There is a question whether Jacob Cowing, with his shoulder injury, he is questionable to play. So Trent Taylor could fill in. Trent Taylor, just such a solid veteran at the return game, which is why, he told me before the season that this is why he's been able to kind of carve out a role in the NFL for so many seasons. I mean, I remember when he and George Kittle were rookies together. And, I thought Trent Taylor was going to be the next really strong slot receiver, especially for the 49ers. He had such a good chemistry with Jimmy Garoppolo when Jimmy Garoppolo first came to the 49ers. But Trent Taylor just had a back injury, a foot injury. I mean, he had such a serious foot injury and an infection that there was question whether he was going to be able to keep his foot. So, I mean, it's so good to see Trent Taylor happy and healthy and back with the 49ers. So he could get his shot on Sunday. So I think those are pretty much all of the updates roster wise for the 49ers. I did speak to Trent Williams this week, and just a really special moment that happened a week ago. The 49ers had their tackle cancer or crucial catch event where players walk the red carpet. And Trent Williams, talking about the other Trent Williams obviously had his cancer scare back in 2019. So he had a really rare form of skin cancer that is actually scalp cancer. Very rare. 1 in 5 million people have it. It's super rare scalp cancer. But what's crazy about his diagnosis is that he noticed the skin abnormality in 2013 when he was with the Washington Commanders. Their training staff, their medical staff said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine." 2013. He had a second opinion in 2019, 6 years after he first noticed the abnormality. And the cancer had actually started to sprout roots and had attached to his skull, but it had not made it into his brain yet. So thankfully, his skull protected his brain as it should do, but it did not make it all the way through to his brain. So he had surgery. 30% of his scalp was removed. He had skin grafts from other areas on his body, and it was placed on his head to replace the skin that was removed from his scalp. And obviously he made his recovery and is one of the best left tackles in the game, even now at 30, mid 30s. So just a really remarkable comeback story for Trent Williams. But this on Sunday, a week ago on Sunday, was the first time he had ever wanted to participate in the 49ers cancer event. Now, after that whole misdiagnosis, all of that, that really kind of is the reason he's with the 49ers. The Washington Commanders wanted to keep him. I think they were the Redskins at the time, but he was so distraught over the misdiagnosis or the kind of lack of care that happened in the Washington Commanders medical side that he wanted to leave. And so he obviously is really good friends with Chris Foerster, offensive line coach with the 49ers. And so with him being with the 49ers, that kind of pushed Trent Williams to want to be with Kyle Shanahan, who he has a history with. Kyle Shanahan was there with Mike Shanahan when they drafted Trent Williams as the left tackle, one of the first picks of the draft. So kind of those relationships that they had built back then was the reason why that Trent Williams landed with the Niners after wanting to get away from the Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, the Commanders have had a whole kind of overhaul of personnel and people. Adam Peters is there now, and it's a much healthier organization, new ownership. So it's a much better situation. But Trent Williams has always talked to me about how different it is with the 49ers. It's just the organization as a whole, the staff, everything from the way they get their food to the way players are taken care of in travel to at the facility. It's just a different level than what the Washington Commanders were back when he was there. So it's just so I've got a story coming out, and I just posted a little video on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook about Trent Williams walking the red carpet for the first time in 5 years after his cancer diagnosis and beating it. And I just found it very sentimental, and it was really cool to see him walk down the carpet, hug cancer survivors. He gave every cancer survivor that was there an autographed jersey. He actually sat down for over about like 45 minutes to sign each jersey individually for each survivor that was there. And he talked to me one-on-one about why he decided to make a change and actually be involved this year. So it was really cool. So definitely check out my story. It's coming out soon. Also, I just posted a story about Kristin Juszczyk, Kyle Juszczyk's wife, who is famous for the creations that she makes, the puffer vests, all her game day outfits. And while I think some people may kind of brush it aside as, something that doesn't have anything to do with football, she's really inspiring. One of her goals in her kind of game day outfits and what she wants to do is to make sure that women feel safe in sports, in the sporting environment, as fans and as participants in other sports. And it's a story of inclusion and, kind of finding, life lessons, finding and following your interests, maybe when you're not a teenager, maybe when you're an adult, to follow your hobbies. So while I generally cover football, and she is part of the 49ers football organization, being the wife of Kyle Juszczyk, it's just kind of sometimes life lessons to, I started this journey very late in my life. When you think about other journalists and sports reporters starting right out of college. So, I understand and appreciate what she's trying to do, making sure women have a voice and a safe place to have gear. I mean, 46% of NFL fans are female. And when you go into an NFL store, I think the 49ers store is a little bit different. There are quite a few female choices, but it's changed a lot. And she wants to make sure that women have a voice and that they have a place and a safe place to watch football. So I appreciate all of you that watch me, because as a female reporter in covering a male sport, I appreciate that you find my opinion and something that matters. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll give you more updates as much as possible throughout the season. Definitely follow tomorrow. I'll have a ton of game day videos and whatnot up on mostly Instagram. I do a lot of those on my stories there, but I'll post more here as much as possible. But thanks again for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.